Tonight, in a CBS News KHOU 11 exclusive, we are hearing from Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo for the first time since returning from a leave of absence to be treated for depression. She talked with CBS News senior political correspondent Ed O'Keefe, who joins us now. Ed, thanks. Did Hidalgo say how long she was struggling before deciding to get help?
Len, she did. And, you know, I walked into the interview thinking maybe this had something to do with her current day job. But what she admitted is that this is something she struggled with for at least 8 years, saying it dates back to her when she was 24, had dropped out of law school, and was beginning to feel depressed. She realized over the course of several years that it was getting worse, and especially so in the last year. She had sought help from a doctor who suggested it was just anxiety. And so she says she started attending concerts, exercising more, sleeping more, eating better, but it wasn't going away. And it wasn't until this past summer that she took steps to finally get real treatment for what is now clinical depression, something that she says she is treating with 2 kinds of medication, and hopes will ultimately just be a temporary situation that she can move on from. But she's in incredibly great spirits and really eager to share her story, not only with Houstonians, but with the entire country.
Ed, at one point you asked Hidalgo about critics who said she should resign. Let's listen to that part of the interview.
You know that your Republican opponent last year at one point called on you to resign while you were gone, suggesting that you weren't up to the job. What did you make of her criticism?
It's about stigma, right? And we're fighting to destigmatize mental illness. A way to move in completely the opposite direction and to stigmatize it is to politicize it. When I heard that, I thought of them. I said, well, what if this was the person who ran in their county and says, if you have mental illness, you can't do a job? Well, number one, it might make you push it farther down, be less likely to admit it. Might make people feel worse, inadequate. So, you know, I'm quite certain that the mental illness percentages are the same for Republicans and Democrats. And I read someone said, and I think they're right, there's probably a lot of folks on both sides who could use some mental health treatment.
And I wonder, why did Hidalgo decide to seek treatment out of state?
It's a good question, and one we asked her about, Len, and she said it was her doctors who said, given her public role, given that she was a well-known public official, at least there in the Houston area, she needed to go outside of Texas, outside of neighboring states, because there was a possibility that there might be a fellow patient who knew her and wouldn't be able to see her, in essence, as an equal in group sessions or other therapy. And so go as far as she could. She went all the way to a place called the Lindner Center of Hope, located outside Cincinnati, and she recounts how she was there with senior citizens, with guys who were only about 18 or 19, with a woman who had 7 children. She said it was a mix of Democrats and Republicans, and over time they've become very good friends and are still in touch. And ultimately they found out that she is who she is, and at one point she told me she got a supportive voicemail from Vice President Harris, who was checking in on her, and she couldn't believe that the Vice President would call and leave such a message. She ended up playing it for her fellow patients so that they could sort of appreciate the support that she was getting and share that with the others. It was, Len, I've spoken over the years with so many different public officials on so many different issues. I've never had a conversation quite like this with anyone, let alone somebody in political life. And whether you agree with her or disagree with her, whether you like the way she's run Harris County or not, I think people will walk away with this appreciating that somebody in a public role is taking something very bad that happened to them and now really trying to help other people in hopes that they might see this and think, you know, it's either me or it's my wife or it's my neighbor or it's my cousin. I got to get them help. And we certainly hope that that's what ultimately will happen, and it's why we were so eager to talk to her.
Yes, and I know there is a lot more to this interview. Thank you, Ed. You can watch Ed's entire interview with Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo tomorrow morning on CBS Mornings.